A U.S. judge in Florida has partially and temporarily blocked Florida's new law banning gender-affirming care for minors. Last month, 7 Florida families had sued the state of Florida in an attempt to block the new law that bans basically all gender-affirming care for minors. And 3 of the 7 families had also filed an injunction and a temporary restraining order in an attempt to ensure that their minors would continue to receive the gender-affirming care that they needed while the lawsuit played out. And that petition just received an answer by U.S. District Judge Robert Hinkle, who has granted the families the injunction they required. While the decision is only temporary and, most importantly, only applies to the 3 families that filed the injunction, Judge Hinkle spared absolutely no words of criticism against the DeSantis administration. The decision puts a firm stake in the ground, albeit in the form of an injunction, that irreparable harm can come if gender-affirming care is suddenly paused due to state laws. Now let's look at what I think are the most important parts of this order. Judge Hinkle comes out swinging, I think, with a paragraph that he titles "Gender Identity is Real" and points out that there's a difference between biological gender and gender identity, pointing out that gender identity is something that is developed after birth. Judge Hinkle in this paragraph points out that even the defendants, even the state of Florida, and even the experts that they called pointed out that yes, gender identity is in fact a real thing. Judge Hinkle also sent a stinging review to Florida State Representative Barnaby, who a few months ago had called transgender people demons and mutants. Hinkle called the law a political move, pointing out that he couldn't find anything within the law that could be considered a legitimate interest of the state. He also very clearly points out that nothing could have motivated this remarkable intrusion into parental prerogatives other than opposition to transgender itself. In essence, what he's saying is, this law is not designed to protect children. It is designed to be aggressive and attack the people that have a gender identity that does not conform with the views of the government. The families had asked for an injunction and a temporary restraining order. Temporary restraining order would cover the period to decide on the injunction. Judge Hinkle said that no temporary restraining order would be necessary because the evidence presented by both parties made the case, as he called it, ripe for decision. I would call this a small but significant victory, but one that remains really a very, very small step in a nationwide political attack against some of the most vulnerable people in America. People who have really been made into fodder as the GOP tries to claw as many votes as possible by eliciting the rage of the ultra-conservatives and the Christian nationalists in America.